Welcome back to episode number 31. I am Kate, your host, and I am once again thankfully joined by my husband, Patrick, who is my co-host in this endeavor. He is right here and ready and raring to go.
Let's say raring.
Not ready, though?
Not ready. I'm not quite ready.
So you're excited to go, but you're not ready yet.
I'm excited.
I get that.
I'm always excited.
That makes sense.
This is the only time we talk to each other is on the podcast.
Separate wings of the house. And by wings, I mean floors.
And by floors, you mean...
Two floors, yeah. That's it. Yeah, we haven't really felt up to podcasting lately with the climate being what it is.
Yeah, it's tough to come on here and be witty and...
anyways.
on a normal day, but especially what's going on. And I've talked to you about this. I have an issue with coming on and just talking about COVID. Like it's so depressing. But when you're talking about Disney, like that's the only news right now. It's all related to what's going on in the world. And I wish it wasn't that way. Like I wish we could have something fun and light to talk about that wasn't that.
And luckily with the news of several planned reopenings, we are getting to have some more lighthearted clips to share and news to speak of, and it was just really hard. We talked to each other maybe two or three. Again, we were in our own floors of the house. We talked to each other.
We turned the equipment on and we talked to each other from the floors.
Used walkie-talkies, and we just kind of said, "I don't feel up to it this week. I'm not in the right headspace, and I just want to make the statement that we support anybody." No matter the color of your skin, no matter your gender, no matter what you identify as, we support any and all on this podcast. And we just want to make that known,
Absolutely, 100%.
To get that out of the way that, we love everybody fully, no matter who you were born as or like to be.
And Black lives indeed do matter.
Absolutely. Abso-friggin-lutely. So that being said, we're back, and we do have some more fun clips to share this week, which makes us happier and makes for a better podcast when we're happy.
We hope.
Correct. So I decided to make a new segment, and again, Jim, I'm so sorry. You're being put to work in overtime.
All this time off, we could have called him, or we could have texted him.
I miss him. I do.
Okay, but we could have done that. We could have called him and said, we need a new sound, but here we are. Asking for you on the podcast to make a new sound for us. Perhaps
he's the kind of person that he needs to hear the segment to be inspired to create an audio clip.
Good point.
So, Cap and Jim, our new segment is called I Miss Disney. That's just it. That's the name of the segment. And it's any and all articles that are people at home doing stuff to bring the spirit of Disney to their homes and bringing the spirit of Disney to others. So that is what it is, Jim. Maybe you can give us somebody crying saying, I miss Disney.
I believe it'll be Jim.
It's really anybody at this point. So to kick things off, I found a YouTube channel called Ambient Worlds, which features soundtracks from places like Cinderella's Castle, Yoda's Hut on Dagobah, and Disney's Animal Kingdom and Pandora.
Now, in my mind, when you say that, I think that it's children having a meltdown inside the castle, people criticizing Star Wars from Jabba's Hut, and
Jabba's Hut.
Yoda's Hut. Oh, sorry, those
Dagobah.
Dagobah. So is that what it is? It's just like the sounds that you would hear if you were in the park at that time?
Well,
I don't want to go to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. I don't want
to. That's the fathers.
Oh, okay.
That's not the 10-year-olds.
Right.
No, it's like 2 hour. They're 2 hour videos.
Lord. Oh, okay.
But it's not the negative stuff. It's very delightful. It's actually a nice thing to put on the background if you're working. It's very calm. The Pandora one is my favorite because I love James Horner's score. Sivako. It's all that. They even have ones that they feature ambient music that's based on Lord of the Rings. Ooh. They use some of the soundtrack in there. They use some of their own stuff. It's a lovely, lovely channel. So if you're missing Disney, go look for Ambient Worlds on YouTube.
2 hours of potatoes.
That's it. Sean Astin just saying taters precious on loop over and over again. If you are someone that has ever ventured into the gift shop at your hotel and purchased perhaps a bottle of Disney wine, there's good news. What? What?
We are alcoholics.
No,
that's the good news right there.
These are lovely brands of wine,
okay,
and I'm just bringing the news for the good people.
Go on, boozer.
Anyway, If you enjoy the Once Upon a Vine wines, you can now order them. Yes. You can go to online, the Wine Chateau or the Best Wine Store, and order from the collection the Pinot, the Zinfandel, the Sauvignon Blanc, the Red Blend, or the Chardonnay. These are very, very popular in Disney gift shops in the resorts.
Sure.
If you are in love with Disney food, there is a new hashtag circulating on social media called hashtag Magic Foodie Tour. And this was something created by 3 Instagrammers. Their handles are Bibbidi Bobbidi Broke, Eat See Magic, and It's Darling Nikki. And what they have done is they have shared their own Disney-fied eats on social media, or they've shared photos of the food from Disney on social media, and every day had a theme. So you can check out what they did on their social media accounts, or again, use the hashtag Magic Foodie Tour. Something that's in the news a lot this week, really kind of the biggest thing surrounding Disney World, was the announcement that the Major League Soccer is going to be coming to ESPN's Wide World of Sports.
That's not what I heard. I mean, the biggest news I heard was the NBA coming.
That's like that was almost secondary to my search for
really?
This. Yes, true. And I know it's surprising because
basketball's bigger
much
in the States.
Bigger, yeah. So I found a great article from Touring Plans, which is an awesome resource. If you've never been on Touring Plans, it's amazing. I first became aware of it when they had their reservation finder. Which if you're looking for like a BR guest reservation, you can put in your details and it will send you a notification when a reservation pops open.
Cool.
But you have to go like right then. Yeah. Otherwise it's not available. Anyway, Touring Plans, great site. So here's what they said. The ESPN Wide World of Sports complex will be the host location for the MLS, which is Major League Soccer, MLS is Back tournament. This tournament will run from July 8th to August 11th, and it will include all 26 Major League Soccer clubs competing in a continuous schedule of 54 matches that will take place nearly every day. These will actually count towards the rankings in the season, and then the tournament winner will earn a spot in the 2021 Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League.
Now, I assume this will be done sans guests.
That would be correct.
No fans.
Yes.
That is correct? So
that is correct.
Nobody in the stands. So all we'll hear is people just kicking soccer balls.
No, you'll hear a lot of whistles and the overacting of soccer
and
players.
Flops.
The
a
flopping.
Lot of flop sounds.
Yep. That's basically right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you're right. Like basketball is also going to be there as well.
And strangely enough, the exact same sounds.
Flopping?
Flopping sounds.
Whistles?
And squeaky shoes. That's the only difference.
Slide tackling.
Squeaky shoes.
On the floor. What kind of basketball games have you been to?
Not many. But I
Apparently.
know that there's a lot of squeaky shoes on the floors.
Yes. Well, the soccer clubs are going to be arriving June 24th for preseason training.
Wow.
If you can call it that.
So here's a question for you.
Yes.
When the soccer players arrive,
Yes.
where will they live? Where will they
I had
sleep?
heard that they were going to be housed at the Swan and Dolphin.
Oh, that's classy. That's
right?
good.
That's a beautiful location.
Yeah, it's better than All Star Sports.
I just want to see all this, right? By the way, we got you guys set up in one of our discount hotels.
You're in the one with the hockey puck.
We gave you the soccer. We figured that'd be kind of classy to give you the soccer area. There you go.
Laundry facilities are there for you.
And by the way, all the basketball
Bring your
players are in the
quarters.
basketball end. It's gonna be mobbed. I say that'd be hysterical.
Extra long beds.
This is the best we could do for you.
Basketball players.
Right? Yeah. I happen to have another new segment.
Oh, do we need sound for this
Captain
too?
Jim, please.
Oh dear.
This is titled Reopening.
That's it?
That's it.
That's
Disney
gonna be
Disney
difficult.
World reopening. Disney reopening.
Oh boy.
Opening again. Once more with feeling.
Yeah, there's got to be some popular music we can make that happen with.
No, Jim.
Oh, original Jim music?
He needs jobs right now.
Well, we're not paying him.
We're not. I thought you were taking care of that. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I'm so sorry, Jim.
Yes, the check is in the mail.
So reopening news. Florida has instituted a mandatory 14-day quarantine for visitors coming to Disney World from the New York tri-state area, which includes Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York, and people coming in must isolate or quarantine for a period of 14 days from the time of entry into Florida or the duration of the individual's presence in Florida, whichever is shorter.
So if we're coming for a 5-day visit to Disney, we have to first spend 14 days in the somewhere.
That's what people are complaining about. Because of course people were incensed. But here's the thing. 2 things.
2 different podcasts, but.
This is that was our old one. This is supposed to expire a few days before Disney World reopens. So, and also, how are they going to check? How are they going to know? How does anybody know?
Lie detectors.
Unless your ticket is linked to your place of residence.
I'm sure they will have. I mean, Disney knows your flight schedule.
Even still.
Even and out. In and out.
How do they know that you didn't already quarantine? You can check your flight.
Here's my question.
What if you're not a flight?
We are in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And we fly through big cities like New York.
Oh, good point.
What happens then?
I don't think that counts.
Oh.
But I'm just curious as to how they would check that.
I don't know.
Is your ticket tied to your place of residence?
You have to get on the Magic Bus and you have to drive around for 14 days.
Because what if maybe you...
Come on, that was good.
What was that?
Get on the Magic Bus and drive around for 14 days before you're let in the parks.
It's the longest Magical Express ride ever.
That video will loop every hour.
And the person gets more and more tired as each hour goes on. And they just give up by the end. That would be really funny.
Yeah.
You are funny today.
Don't sound so surprised, please.
Look what happens when you read the notes ahead of time.
We are in hour 10.
You're Shecky Green.
Of the Magic Bus.
Shecky Green is here. Good news.
Good news.
Magic bands are now allowed to be ordered again. They had paused the customization of the Magic bands for people that ordered packages, but now you can order them again. And here's my thought on that, is that you know how they did the whole, you can buy special ones for $10 more?
Sure.
Or you can just have the blank ones for a solid color.
Sure.
I think you should get money back if you don't take them up on the free Magic band. Right? $10. Come on.
You should get money back if you don't take them up on the free Magic Band.
It's free.
Offer.
I think if you have a band from before or one that you've purchased and you don't want to use the new one that they're going to give you, you should get $10 or a fast pass.
Are you hurting that much, are you?
I'm just saying it would be free otherwise.
You're right.
They should give me money.
Where's my money?
Where's my money? We're in love with John Mulaney right now. We've been watching Kid Gorgeous literally on repeat.
On loop.
Where's my money?
You
give us your money. I have a really fun question for you. I hope you didn't read ahead.
Oh, you are sending me mixed signals right now.
I know, I'm sorry. Given the fact that it's going to reopen, I thought it would be fun to look into the most evacuated rides in Disney World. Evacuated, meaning
it broke down and they had to
get people off.
Get the people off.
Seemingly because as they go to reopen, you're going to be faced with longer lines, longer waits, and maybe things will break down. You know. So, what do you think is? Give me their top 3 rides you think have been. And let me tell you this. This was taken from 2016 to 2018.
Okay, all right.
So
fine.
We can't include Ride of Resistance, which is the top of everybody's list.
I'm going to say, based off of our experiences, that Everest is number 1.
You would be entirely incorrect.
I'm going to say, based on our experience, that Frozen is number 1.
You would be absolutely correct.
Okay, all right.
Ding, 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 ding,
so
ding,
I got
ding.
1 for 2.
Frozen is the top.
Frozen is the top.
Yes.
And Everest isn't in the top?
No, Everest is not even on
Everest
here.
is always down.
It's not on here, no. Not compared to what these evacuations. It might be broken down, but it might not be evacuated. Think that. Keep that in mind.
Splash Mountain.
That is on the list at number 8.
Wow. Okay. Splash Mountain's always down.
So you have 1 and you have number 8. Give you one more guess, and then we're going to tell you.
Give me a park.
The second in the line is, this is going to be very surprising to you, it's in Magic Kingdom.
Is it Haunted Mansion?
That would be very incorrect. Not even on the list.
Okay, all right, because well, it's your favorite ride. That's why
it is my favorite ride.
Let's see. I'm going to say teacups. Evacuate the teacups! Everyone, gotta get out of here!
I picture them spinning at 90 miles an hour. Jump!
I just picture the ride shutting down. Everyone going, get out, everyone leave.
Or the opposite. It's like an Austin Powers moment where they spin so slow. Get out now! Hurry! No, you are incredibly
all right.
wrong.
No, I'm still going. Let's see.
MK, Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom. It's not the People Mover.
You'd be
No.
frustratingly incorrect.
I said no. It would not be Lilo and Stitch. No. All right. Let me think.
It's just Stitch's Great Escape. There's no Lilo involved.
In the last 4, there's no.
Just hurry up.
I'm guessing.
Oh my God, you're wasting time.
All right. I'm going to guess that it is.
Just stalling.
It is Little Mermaid.
No.
Winnie the Pooh.
No.
Peter Pan.
No.
It's a Small World.
Peter Pan was on there though.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. So was Winnie the Pooh.
See?
But number 2, that's not what it was. Here's the list in order. So number 1 we already said was Frozen Ever After.
Okay.
The second on the list, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Really?
So what are the two commonalities here?
Moving people.
Animatronics. No, it's water.
Oh,
Yeah. So Space Mountain is number 3.
all that water.
Cali River Rapids is number 4. Winnie the Pooh is number 5.
I said Pooh.
I know. I said that you did. This is an odd one. The Barnstormer.
That's in that kid section.
That's
isn't
in the
it?
circus. Yeah, we wrote it once.
Did we?
We did.
I don't remember.
We did not break down. After that, we have Peter Pan's Flight, then Splash Mountain, Toy Story Midway Mania.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yeah.
And the last one, you want to guess? Don't look. Did you look?
I looked.
You look. It's
I
Spaceship Earth. Spaceship Earth.
Wouldn't have guessed
Animatronics. What's the one thing?
Oh my gosh, I smell Rome burning.
It really is burning.
Get out!
Oh my God, the animatronics have become sentient. Get them out. They're conspiring.
Dame Judy.
Dame
Oh,
Judy.
which, by the way, I read that the remodel of Spaceship Earth is not going to happen. It's been pushed back. It's been postponed.
Oh, here we are. We thought we wrote it
for the
the
last
week
time.
before they were going to start, and they didn't.
No, they
Or had they started?
No, they have not started. They have pushed back that project until a later date.
That's right. We were going to go in May,
Yes.
and then we were going to be able to say
Yes.
we wrote it one more time before
Correct.
the overhaul, but not anymore.
Nope, that's been indefinitely pushed back.
Yeah. Speaking of Magic Kingdom, as we just talked about Winnie the Pooh and everything, one of the hottest news articles this week is that there is a fan petition out there to retheme Splash Mountain as a Princess and the Frog ride. So the reasons behind this is because the ride is based on the controversial Disney movie Song of the South, which depicts African Americans in a very negative light.
Yes.
And so it's half and half right now. There are some that very much want this to be updated, and there was one person, I should have written down the link, but they came up with like concept art for what could happen in all the pre-show and what could happen per room and per floor, and it kind of made sense. Like it was a really great idea. But then there are the others that think,
So what's the waterfall? What happens there?
well, I would assume that both the little frogs get swept up in the waterfall. And as they tumble out, they get transformed into humans.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, I don't know.
All right.
No. There are other people that feel like this is a classic ride. We shouldn't touch it. The Princess and the Frog would not even fit the ride.
Look, all rides need to be redone at some point. All of
Yes.
them. All of them. I mean, look at the Aerosmith ride.
Oh,
It's begging to be redone.
yeah,
I think
it
all
is.
rides need to be kind of refreshed.
there is that sadness though when you do realize a favorite ride is going to be overhauled, one that you grew up with, one that you associate with Disney. And I said to somebody this week, I really don't have a lot of nostalgia because I only started going when I was 29. And I'm 35 now, so I only have 6 years of experience, where some that have been going since they were kids have now seen things. The hat missing in Hollywood studios.
I remember the hat.
That kind of stuff is just very sad to see. But
I for one, I'd like to see everything kind of get refreshed and changed every once in a while. And not only that, but we and I have talked. We had talked about if we hit the lottery, would we go to Disney all the time? Would we buy season passes? My whole thing has been, I've seen it. You get to a point, I think, with Disney, I do, not so much you, but I get to a point with Disney where I'm like, yeah, I've seen it. I've done it. I've ridden the rides. I've seen it all.
But you don't
It would be
have-
nice to be like, you know what? They just redid Splash Mountain. We should go see that. Yes, but put me in line.
well, a great example of that is the overhaul of Tower of Terror in Disneyland to Mission Breakout.
And people love it.
People love it. And now I mean, we've become familiar with Guardians of the Galaxy, and we love that property, and I'm dying to see what that ride is like now, even though I love Tower of Terror, and I would be so sad if that happens in Disney World, because that to me is iconic Disney. But, when these properties
won't change, just the theming.
But that's what I mean, though. That's what I associate as one of my favorites.
I'm okay with it.
We're in two different camps.
Retheme.
Good pun. That's your last name. Oh my God.
And yours.
Amazing. Yeah, whatever. You pointed this out this week. I wanted to feature you.
I did something good?
You did something right. Cinderella's Castle, if you didn't know, is getting a fresh paint job for the 50th anniversary, and the painting this week has resumed. So if you are not following Bio Reconstruct on Twitter yet,
do it.
What are you waiting for? This is a great aerial account, not Ariel like the mermaid, but in the air. An aerial account that takes sky pictures of different properties around Orlando that I've seen him take pictures of Universal Studios, of what they're doing with the construction there, but he's taken some great pictures of Cinderella's Castle this week. So go on Twitter, look him up. The color is being changed from like the blue and gray to gold and pink. I don't know what I think about that. Again, refreshing things. Not sure. But from Disney, this is actually from Disney themselves, they said, Cinderella first transformed into a princess 70 years ago this week when the animated classic was released, and ever since, her courage and kindness have been inspiring guests and cast members alike.
So she's old.
She's old. She needs a facelift.
Yeah.
She needs some work done. So work's back on that one. So not much in the world of merchandise, except for one thing that matters to me. And that is there is going to be a new Haunted Mansion Funko Pop coming this summer.
The long nightmare is over.
I know. This is a set for $29.99.
Christmas is coming.
You can get a replica of the mansion itself and the butler. They come together in a package. But here's the sad thing. It's not the one in Disney World. It's the one in Disneyland.
Which we have to go to.
We had talked about it this summer, but, COVID. Wah, wah. But it's reopening.
Yep, it is.
That's down there in the news clips. Yep. Let's head to the resorts, please.
Jim.
Oh, no.
We don't have resorts.
We can't go to the resorts. We don't have a sound effect.
Resorts.
How about this? That's what works. There's our clip for that. We're at the resorts.
Okay.
Just to remind you. So, with the reopening of Disney World, the resorts will be opening on June 22nd, and it's going to be all DVC resorts to start. So, Disney Vacation Club. You were wondering what that acronym was.
No, I got it.
What'd you think it was, DVC?
Direct to video. I don't know.
That would be DTV.
You're right.
DVC.
I am DTV.
Nope, that's not it either.
Okay,
nope.
all right.
So the resorts have said that once they do reopen, they're going to have enhanced cleaning procedures. So, Patrick, what do you think are going to be some of the enhanced cleaning procedures at the Disney resorts when they reopen?
I'm so happy you asked. I actually had a chance to talk to Bob Disney about this.
Is he here?
No, he is not here.
Oh, I
he
got
is
excited.
unavailable.
Is he quarantined?
He is self-quarantining because he's been going back and forth, so he has to spend 14 days whenever he goes back.
Okay.
So just the three things for enhanced cleaning. The first thing is the practice of underside bedding is no longer going to be a thing.
Like skirts?
No. I mean,
bed skirts?
like guest A has left, we'll flip the sheets, and guest B will sleep on them. That is no longer going to happen.
I didn't realize that actually happened.
It saves money and it saves time. But
it just seems like that's not something that Bob Disney would push for.
Well, it wasn't. Safety now is an issue. Well, that wasn't an issue before. Now it is. And for the kids out there, the second practice, which is no longer allowed to happen, are the people that are cleaning the rooms are no longer allowed to make TikToks as they clean the mirrors. Because it only is 3 wipes. And they need more wipes. If you don't get that joke, ask your kids.
Ask your teenagers specifically.
No more cleaning, doing TikToks when you're making mirrors.
None of that. None of that.
And the last thing I have for the enhanced cleaning is, you are familiar, Kate, with the proper way to wash your hands.
You sing a song.
Yes, and what song do you sing?
Do you know the Muffin Man?
No. You sing Happy Birthday when you're washing your hands.
Is it?
I think you sing it twice, and that is enough time. Okay. So Disney has decided that they need something for their staff to do while they're vacuuming the rooms.
Oh.
They are to sing It's a Small World and find the part where it stops. And whenever that song stops, you are done vacuuming the room.
But It's a Small World doesn't stop.
That's going to be a problem then.
Oh, boy.
The rooms will be very clean, very vacuum.
They're like animatronics. They're not going to stop.
Yeah, but they have to sing it. So you're going to hear a lot of people singing as they vacuum.
You're going to get into your room and they're going to be singing it for the 77th time.
Because the vacuum is so loud, they have to sing loud.
It's a small world after all.
So those are the enhanced cleaning new guidelines that have come down from Disney for the cleaning of the resorts.
Well, I thank you for that. Those are very creative guesses. I'm just going to update you as to what the true enhanced cleaning procedures are.
You know what? You asked me to come up with these. I came up with the 3 that were there.
I'm sure they're going to take it to heart, too. So first of all, we have online check-in, which we already did, but they're now really pushing for people to go to this option. They have redesigned bell services. They will not be following guests to their rooms with luggage. They're just going to leave luggage at the rooms and not have contact.
Just throw them towards the room.
Throw them at the door. They might break open in the walkway. That's fine.
That's fine.
They will have enhanced cleaning for elevators and escalators. They have added hand sanitizer stations throughout the resorts.
Yeah. Where was it? Was it Universal that they were making people put hand sanitizer before they went on rides?
Yes, that was in discussions for Hong Kong. Disney,
okay.
Shanghai.
Okay.
Those have been talked about. In addition, we also are going to have reduced capacity, which is obvious, limited contact services at restaurants and stores, cashless payments. They are really leaning into the mobile order service and the use of magic bands. And then they're going to have light cleaning service every other day for rooms. So the whole vacuum thing won't work.
Wow.
Because they'll just be going and going and going and going. And going and going and going and going. Moving on to Disney Springs.
Disney Springs with Patrick and Kate.
So lovely.
Nice,
Just
Jim.
want to update the list of reopenings for Disney Springs, some of the stores and restaurants that are now currently open. That includes Love Pop Kiosk, Dockside Margaritas, Goofy's Candy Company, The Candy Cauldron, Ever After Jewelry Company, Pin Traders, but you can't pin trade.
So what do they do?
They sell pins.
Cool.
Can you imagine Disney selling merchandise? What? Star Wars Trading Post, Art of Disney, The Wonderful World of Disney Memories, Star Wars Galactic Outpost, Marvel Superhero Headquarters, Disney Style, Days of Christmas, and the new CityWorks Eatery and Poorhouse. So that's what's open. Along with, supposedly, AMC Theaters is going to be reopening in July.
What will they show? There are new movies out right
They're
now.
hoping to show Christopher Nolan's Tenet on July 17th and the live-action Mulan on July 24th. This company was doing badly. There were even talks that Amazon might be interested in taking over the company. They had an estimated $2.18 billion
Before this.
from the quarantine.
Okay,
Yes.
after the quarantine.
Yeah, so that will be happening in Disney Springs. Now, my favorite section of the episode, Disneyland and Beyond.
Disneyland and beyond.
This is also good news because Disneyland has announced its reopening. Can't talk today. So the Disneyland Resort has shared their plan for reopening, which is going to start with Downtown Disney on July 9th, the theme parks on the 17th, and then 2 hotels on the 23rd.
Let's go.
Yeah, flights are at an all-time low.
Yeah,
Let's go. So the resort is going to manage attendance with a brand new reservation system, which will require all guests, even including pass holders, to get a reservation in advance.
Yeah, they've got to know the numbers. They've got to get ready for the
This is true
capacity.
for Disney World too.
Yeah.
Parades and other nighttime spectaculars will not be presented, and characters will entertain guests in new ways.
Does nighttime spectaculars include fireworks?
Yes.
Why? Why the fireworks seem safe to me?
Because the crowds.
Okay.
The gigantic crowds. Unless you can, find space that's not the regular space for them to view it.
Yeah,
It's not going to happen.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
So the Grand
Money they're
California.
going to save. My goodness.
Oh, I know, but that also keeps people in the park till close.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah, there's that. The Grand California Hotel and Spa and Paradise Pier are going to be opening on the 23rd with enhanced cleaning. Disney Vacation Club Villas at the Grand Californian will reopen as well, and nothing has been announced for Disneyland Hotel. So, as I said, Downtown Disney will reopen first on the 9th, including World of Disney, with new changes to promote physical distancing and cleanliness.
Interesting.
And one more thing for today. This was actually really cool, and I've been following this with a vested interest just because they're the first to reopen. So as you know, Universal Studios is open now, and all the resorts are open too. And today I was on Disboards on Facebook, which is a great Disney community of people. And Kristen P. shared a great review of a recent stay at Universal Studios with her family and young children. So I just wanted to share a few points of this. And thank you again to Kristen for allowing us to share this review. It's very thorough. Makes me miss the parks even more because of what she was able to do. So she said it was a very last minute trip, that they literally booked a room and then like in the next hour they were on the road. It was her husband, and their 2 girls who were ages 12 and 17. Okay. So on the way there, they decided to buy annual passes. They got to their hotel, which was Cabana Bay, at like 4. They walked in, their temperature was checked, and they got their colored wristbands, which apparently the parks are changing daily to ensure that everybody's been checked, and you can't like take a red wristband and roll it over to the next day and stuff like that.
That makes sense.
They said that the staff was very friendly, that they almost seemed like, they were so happy to be working again.
Sure.
Which is great, because I mean, you could be completely like, very anxious about going back to work in this kind of capacity. They said they got a great room with a great view of Volcano Bay. They went over to the parks. They had to go to guest services to get their annual passes, but then they were able to do Mummy twice and Gringotts 3 times before the park closed at 6. So the park is closing a lot sooner than normal, but
Sure.
that makes sense.
They have to get ready to clean and polish everything for the next day.
Then they went back to their hotel room for dinner, tried to go to the pool. There was a lightning storm possibility that went off. They alerted all the guests. They had to leave. She couldn't say enough good things about the food at the quick service locations at their hotel, which is very rare to hear that kind of a thing. So that's pretty awesome. Next day, they had sort of an awful experience at Starbucks, and I said to her, "Oh man, I feel for you." Her daughter had an allergy, and they went to Starbucks, and they said, "Okay, no milk. Don't put milk." And guess what happened? Yep, you can assume what happened. We've had this happen in Disney when Patrick's daughter had red food dye, and then Sydney also has a peanut allergy.
No, peanut, just nuts. Yeah,
just nuts. But that didn't even happen that one time. It was Peyton's red
right.
dye, and she was out of commission the whole next day.
Yeah,
and it's awful when you're at a place you want to have fun with and you can't do anything but stay at the hotel and just sleep. It was awful.
Yep.
So she said that they didn't realize it right away, and that the people at Starbucks really weren't great about like apologizing. So I felt really bad for her on that.
Yikes.
So anyway, they made their way to Islands of Adventure, and Hagrid's ride is now doing Hagrid's ride is now doing a virtual queue. So she mentions a lot about how they got virtual queues for Hagrid's throughout her trip. They did Spider-Man, King Kong, Jurassic Park twice, Forbidden Journey as well.
Wow.
Hagrid's had broken down, so they got another queue time. They went back to the hotel for a bit. And then they went to Volcano Bay, and she said, how they have the wristband system for like coming back to get a place in line? Never had to use it. There were no lines.
Sure.
There were no lines at Volcano Bay.
Sure.
Had a great dinner at Margaritaville and went to Voodoo Donuts, which I'm really mad we've never been there.
Yeah.
I love donuts now. Quarantine has made me a donut lover. I love getting donuts now.
Absolutely.
So the next day they went back to Hagrid's, but it was already on delay because they couldn't even get a virtual queue that day. They rode Hulk, Doctor Doom, Spider-Man, Kong, Jurassic Park twice. They got 2 virtual queues for Hagrid's. They got some lunch, and then they went to Forbidden Journey, waiting for Hagrid's even more, did the train. And this is the part that she said was the worst, was the train experience, that the wait there was 30 minutes.
Wow.
And that it just wasn't, there was no wind, there was no air coming in, so it was very hot and stuffy. People were complaining.
Well, that they've made that so that only families can be in the one cart. So if you are a family of 2, right, you take up an entire cart, opposed to before where there was 6 people or 7 people or 8 people in a cart.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So when you're a family, you are in one cart.
That makes sense.
That's why That's why it's taking longer for them to get on.
Yeah. They said that they had a negative experience at Mel's Diner, that the wait was really long.
I don't even know where that is.
I've never seen Mel's Diner, to be fair.
Vinny?
Yeah.
Where's Mel's
Vinny,
Diner?
tell us. Where's Mel's Diner?
He knows.
Is it new? We don't know. They said that, unfortunately, due to weather, it sounds like they had some rough weather when they were there. Rip it, ride it, rock it,
Roller coaster.
Roll
Let's
it.
just go with that one.
rip it,
Smoke it.
wrap it, roller coaster was closed due to weather. So instead, they rode Mummy, Transformers, Jimmy Fallon, Gringotts.
At the same time?
Yeah, all the same time. Got butterbeer and did some wand spells. They went back to Islands of Adventure. They finally got to Hagrid's. They rode the Hulk. And let's see, they went to Hard Rock, one of our favorite places there. And then they went back. They said that the mask situation was pretty bearable, except for obviously when they were in line at the train station. Then they kind of really felt it there. They said team members were reminding people. I can't imagine what it's got to be like to be a team member and talk to somebody that's just like not wearing it.
Yeah, and
belligerent.
refuses to wear it.
I would think that would be like, you have to wear it, otherwise you will be asked to leave.
America!
For everybody's safety.
America! Don't tell me what to do.
And she said that the one problem her one daughter had was that she felt like she wasn't getting good oxygen. She felt nauseous a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Plus with the Florida weather, I can't even imagine. She said that there were constant markers for social distancing. She anticipates that they might perhaps use virtual queue for every ride, not just Hagrid's, which would make it a lot easier.
Sure.
I mean, really, it would be more work on their part and more maintenance for a computer system, but it would make it a lot easier. She said they were very friendly. The team members were very friendly. Only had 2 people that were kind of grumpy, but, that's a good percentage. This is the interesting part. Hand sanitizer is mandatory before you get on every ride.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
There is a team member who pumps it into your hand right before you get on. And there are hand sanitizers when you get off the ride as well. Counter service took a little bit longer. They did not have any housekeeping at their hotel.
Ew.
Yeah. They were only there for like 2-3 days, so it's not like they were there for a week or more, but still. So Volcano Bay, it being a water park, you don't need to wear a mask unless you're eating or in a shop.
Problem.
What's that?
How do you eat with a mask on?
I mean, unless you go to a restaurant and you sit down, take it off, like what we've been doing here.
Yes,
honestly.
I know. America.
And she said, like at the very end of her review, she said, if you're not from Florida and you're not used to the heat, avoid coming for a while.
Yeah.
So the mask, she said, as a Floridian, the mask is doable. But if you're not a Floridian, not used to it, don't bother. So, yeah.
Very interesting.
Thank you, Kristen, for letting us share that. It's very, very thorough. I'm loving hearing about all these experiences at Universal and then soon to come Disney.
Yeah.
And what people are experiencing, what's open, what's not, what's different, how is it different, how people are handling it, and if it's worth to go right now. Because I'm missing it quite a bit.
Yeah, me too.
I miss Disney.
Cue the sound.
It'll be insert sound here.
Before we leave, we have to come up with a question for our listeners.
That is true.
And I have one.
Oh, I have one too.
Do you really?
Maybe we have 2 this week.
Maybe we have the same one.
Okay, say the count of 3.
No, let's not do that.
Okay.
So here's mine.
Yep.
Where are you, listener, in the change rides, not change rides? Are you somebody, A, who thinks that rides should be refreshed, whether it's culturally appropriate or just time for a change? Or are you of the camp that these are rides that have historical value and have been around forever and they should not be touched? If you are of the camp that rides should be changed, what 2 rides would you most like to see changed for any reason whatsoever? If you are in the camp of rides should not be changed, what are 2 rides that should never be changed?
And I will add, if you think Carousel of Progress should be changed, stop listening to our podcast.
Our broadcast.
Our podcast. If you think Carousel of Progress should be changed, stop listening to our podcast
That's
now.
fair. That's fair.
Because I love that ride. That was not my question.
Oh, was that a good question?
I think you're nailing it this week. Man, you spend 5 minutes on the notes and look what happens.
I didn't spend 5 minutes.
4. 2. You didn't read the notes, did you?
I read them, but I glanced.
Anyway, my question is, do you have any fun ride evacuation stories?
Oh, that's a good question.
And if you do, we'll post the question on social media, but we'd also love to hear from you. So if you want, we have a voicemail line that is solely for our podcast. It does not go to anybody's personal account.
I believe the only person that has used that is Captain Jim.
No, that is not true. We've had a couple.
Oh, you're right. We've had a couple. Right.
But the number is 814-314-9482. Please send us your ride evacuation stories. I know that there are people out there that have some. I know Emily does from Ride of Resistance. She can call us in.
And we don't have to play them on the air if you don't want.
Exactly. You can just tell us. You can say in your voicemail that you'd rather us not play your voice. If you want us to play your voice, you can say that too, but we will keep it confidential if need be. But please send us your ride evacuation stories.
I have some great evacuation
Let
stories.
me just be clear. Ride evacuation, any and other evacuation stories do not need to be shared.
If you were evacuated on the teacups, I want to hear from you directly.
We'll feature that one. We'll highlight that one. So
Get on the teacups!
Anyway, please find us on social media. We love hearing from you and interacting with you. And thank you for listening yet again. I'm Kate. This is
Patrick.
And this has been Earful, a Disney podcast. See you next time. Bye.